having. In the studio, if you can see me, I'm smiling. In fact, I am smiling too much. Let me calm down. In the studio with me are two of my favorite people. I think at this point they're going to say that everybody's your favorite person. Once you are sitting in my studio, you're my favorite person. I have Mrs. Marilyn Owusu and my boss, Nanam Prechum, in the studio with me. And I was telling them before the show that we're going to ask all the questions and get all their secrets. We are going to expose them. So you're welcome to the studio, Marilyn and Nana.
Thank you.
How are you? Ladies first.
I'm doing very well. God has been good.
You look amazing. Last week was your birthday.
Yeah.
Exactly a week today. How did you celebrate it?
It was fun throughout the day.
Okay.
I meant to have a quiet day. It didn't turn out quiet, but every minute was worth it.
Okay. You look relaxed and chill.
Thank you.
Not like me. Good afternoon, Nana.
Good afternoon, Franca.
How are you?
I don't do birthdays, so.
I know, right?
Yeah, you know.
We have to change that.
Yeah.
He doesn't do birthday, he doesn't
It
do
suits
Christmas.
me, so.
He doesn't hug people, including his daughter.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That one has nothing to do with religion. By the way. The first two is religion, but the last one is, you know.
It's
The
just
funny thing
your
is, when I
nature.
saw him, I was going to hug him.
I noticed.
I wonder what the reaction would have been.
Oh no, it's not a big deal. I do hug, but should I?
It's not a preference.
You don't
for
go out
him.
of your way to hug.
Oh,
but
not
you accept
really.
hugs.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes, fine. But I'm not. You know, as the Americans will say, I'm not a hugger.
I know, right? You should change that.
Yeah.
You should change that.
It's
you
like-
work with a lot of young
It's like when your
people.
daughter comes and hugs you, say, I love you, kiss, kiss. Oh, Jaisa. oh, embarrassing me, Jaisa.
You know, the last time you were here, Nana, people kept calling me, who was that guy on your show who said he doesn't hug his daughter? Like so many people. So many people. So maybe you redeem yourself today.
Yes.
Right? Try for me. Anyway, so this is episode 11 of season 4. And we are talking lessons good and bad. Lessons good and bad. I feel like most of the time we focus on the good lessons. And sometimes when people see accomplished people like you, they feel like you had it easy because you hardly talk about your challenges. So as much as I know some of you want to maintain your privacy, we're still going to talk a bit about the lessons we've picked up this year and, in previous years. What are the lessons we are taking into the new year? How can we encourage people who have struggled through the year? Honestly, I've heard a lot of people say this year was tough. This year was long. If you're a business person, this year was something else. But anyway, Soren Kierkegaard, forgive me, I know I butchered the name, but forgive me. He said that life can only be understood backwards, but it has to be lived forwards. Marilyn, do you agree?
I really agree.
What are your thoughts on that?
Life comes with ups and downs, and you learn lessons for them. You celebrate the victories, the hard things that you went through. You sit, you analyze, you see what can be done best, you see what you can let go, and then when you've picked all the lessons, you move forward.
Okay.
And if you are able to put the challenges behind and learn from them, I think it shapes your future better.
Okay. Lana, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think for me, it's worry less about the past and focus on the future. That is done.
Worry less about the past.
Yeah.
But of course, you have to pick up the lessons.
Yeah, that's why you
from
worry
it, right?
less about it. Because sometimes we allow the past to eat us up.
Yeah.
And if you're not careful, it will sort of, it will make you be afraid of the future, or you take less risk.
Okay.
Yeah. So instead of really doing what your heart desires or your mind desires, you might worry too much about, I did in the past, I did this, I did that, I did that. So if you're not careful, you become your own, you become a prisoner of your own experiences. Rather than look at it and keep it in the past and say, life is worth living. And as you know from me, I don't like could have, should have, would have. That's not what I want to do when I'm 60, 70, 80. That is if I'm lucky to live that long. I don't want to, even if I'm poor at 80, I'll be happy knowing that I tried my best to be rich.
Okay.
If whatever circumstances, I will be happy because I tried. Okay. And I give an example of a man I knew when I was growing up in Asante Mampong. He's always happy. He's not jealous of your wealth. He didn't buy a car. But when I was younger, and he used to say it, I probably didn't understand it. He says, I tried it. It just did not work for me. So he has no regrets. Okay. So he has a smile on his face. So if somebody succeeds, he's happy for that person. It's the attitude we have about someone. So for me, worry less about the past. Let's focus on the future. Let the lessons guide you, but don't let the lessons of the past imprison you.
Okay. This is turning out as introspective as I expected it to be. And it's one of the episodes that I think I will listen to again, even after the show, because there's so much both of you have said. I was going to ask you this question towards the end, but now that you've brought it up, what is the one lesson that if I say, Nana, just tell me the one major lesson you've picked out of life up until now, what would that be?
I need more money.
You need more money.
I think this year is evident, right? So when I was in the corporate sector, I probably didn't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Because I was on a journey, and each stage delivers a certain financial reward. Okay. And that financial reward was more than enough. Okay. So I could focus on where the next stage is, and each stage delivers that, what I would call financial freedom. Okay. Now, when you move into the private sector, it's different. Yeah. And what this year has taught me is probably I need more fronts. When I say I need more fronts, it means the revenue lines have to be has to grow, right, and has to be improved. And I need more new revenue lines. Okay. Because this year has been evident because nothing is happening. And so it's a lesson that says, look, this could happen in the future. And so if you have two businesses, how then do you either consolidate that, or how do you open other businesses to make sure you don't go through this financial squeeze that we all went through? So if you ask me, of course I say more money, but I need more business revenue opportunities. Okay.
The money woman is sitting by you, so talk to him after the show. Marilyn, how about you?
I'll say be a master of your emotions.
Wow.
I've gone through so many emotions this year. Okay. And I realized that if you're able to put everything together and be a master of your emotions, in business, in relationships, in friendships, church, business, everything, I've learned that it helps you stay balanced and focused, and it helps you help others. Okay. People are going through a lot. I agree with Nana 100% with all that he said. Yeah. Business-wise, I've been through a lot this year.
Well, it's not showing.
Thank God it's not showing.
Hey, I'm offended. Mine is showing.
Thank God it's not showing. I've learned to be a master of my emotions. Okay. Not to let things get me down to the point where I feel helpless. When anything comes, I ask myself, can you resolve it? Can you get others help you resolve it? Does worrying change it? If I ask myself a lot of questions and realize I can't solve it, I pray about it and I try to be happy. And it works for me in many ways. I push things aside and live. Because if you're not careful, we'll be soon.
Sometimes it's in order to cry, isn't it?
No, it's good to cry. But you don't want to stay there.
He wants me to get emotional.
You don't want to stay there. So I've learned that you need to be a master of your emotions. Okay. I just had an experience just before coming here. I don't know, I won't mention the name of the institution. I went to an institution wanting to do a transaction. I went upstairs where they normally do those transactions. They asked me to come downstairs. I got downstairs, got to where they asked me to do the transaction. Then the person there says, go outside and go to another place and do it. I got there, sat in the queue. I realized I was getting late for this program. Begged everybody that I was coming to a radio show, so they should please allow me to finish what I'm doing and come. Only to be told to go back to the person who told me to come outside. What do? Do you get angry? Do you scream? Do you shout? Do you tell the person, I mean, what's all this?
Yeah.
I just decided to be quiet and stay calm. And I'm sure she was shocked. I stayed calm, made her finish everything. She asked me to wait. Told her I can't wait again. The most important thing is done. I'm here. I could have gotten angry and screamed all the way here, and you wouldn't have said I looked relaxed. So, being in control of our emotions is very important. It helps.
Well, what she just described happened to me in another institution.
Okay.
I'm not sure I had the same reaction. But I'm not going to say my reaction on air because sometimes it's really annoying.
Yeah.
But I get your point. I think you are in a better position to act if your emotions are in check across board, right? All right, you're live on Orange 107.9 FM. This is the Women Lately Show, episode 11. I am the only one counting episodes. Nobody really cares. But at this point, we've done quite a number of episodes. More than 50, I think. Yeah, more than 50. But if you want to join the discussion, you can do that on WhatsApp. The number to join us on is 0548-501-584. We're also streaming live on YouTube, so you can post your comments and then we would interact with you in real time. My big sister and my big brother in the studio. Dana and I always have a episode meeting that touches all global issues before I sit in my chair. But today he's here. Nana, what lessons have you learned, or what lesson have you learned about being grateful? It doesn't have to be a lesson from this year. It can be, in general.
Okay, so, I lost my mom when I was 3 or 4 years old. So I never knew my mom.
Wow.
I mean, even if she became a ghost and came here, I probably would walk by her. I wouldn't know her. I have no recollection of her. And it's mainly because I'm told that when we were younger, she was a market woman.
Okay.
So in the 70s, you can imagine, they wake up at 5 a.m. and they are gone. They come back at 9.
Right.
She did so many things. So we lost her. She said she was going to get me another brother because we were two, myself and my sister. And she thought that, no. And then before then, she had 2 other girls. So she had 3 girls, 1 boy.
Okay.
And she said, no, she needed to give me another brother because she felt that I'll probably be a spoiled, boy or something. And that brings my father. Okay, because when you lose a wife at an early age, and looking at what my father has done for us, starting from not having anything to growing in his career and being able to educate all of us, in the UK. And so something when I look back, I'm very grateful, but I never got the opportunity to tell him. Because I think when I came back at 20 now, so he died a year afterwards.
Oh.
And so I never got to say thank you. I probably, at that time, didn't know it. But as I get older and I look back and I look at the influences and I look at whatever people think of me, it comes from him. And that's what I'm really, really, really grateful for. If I look back, and I'm sure my sister will call me and say, "Hey, sir, you need more." Hey, sir, So sometimes when I'm driving, I get a little bit teary. Sometimes when I'm alone on the Tema, especially in Tema. Yeah, I'm a human being. Contrary to public opinion. sometimes, especially when I'm on the motorway, Tema, you recall certain things, sometimes I quietly say thank you. Thank you. If there's anything I'm grateful for, it's what he's done for us, especially me and my sister. Where he literally set us up, with not just education, not just upbringing, not just roots, not just, tradition, everything. He left us properties like his men who bless her compared to other people.
Okay.
I probably never had to worry about how my school fees was going to be paid. I just showed up, and he took care of it. So that's one thing I'm very, very grateful. Of course, apart from the life and God, but I believe God works through people, right? And God, if you have life, because God actually brought people into your life to ensure that you sustain whatever He's given you. So that's what I'm very grateful for.
For a moment, I thought you were going to break down and cry, but you made it. Marilyn, how about you?
I'm generally a very grateful person. I find meaning and gratitude in almost everything. And I keep saying be profusely grateful. And that's what I practice.
Okay.
I try to see good in everything. And in doing that, it makes me appreciate every little thing.
Yeah.
Just this birthday, for instance, I was very surprised. My kids will normally get me something for my birthday. I rarely wear cloth, as in kaba and slits.
I know, refusing to go.
So I was very surprised when they bought me cloth. And I was with some family members, and their reaction was, "Hey, inquiry ton to mama. Oma kata we dejasu." I've never thought of it that way. All of a sudden, it took a whole different level and meaning for me. So my daughter is not here at the moment. She's in school. So I call her and I say, "Nanaya, I'm calling to say thank you." And she knows I normally say thank you, but she was surprised. And I was telling her, this is the other meaning I got to what you did. And I'm grateful. So I say thank you a lot. Those who know me know for little kids, to anybody, everybody, I say thank you a lot. I intentionally take stock of everything, and I'm eternally grateful for a lot of things. So gratitude comes easy to me.
Okay.
And I think it helps me in life.
That's amazing. I personally think the more grateful you are, the more good things come your way.
Yeah.
I don't know the
verse to support it.
not the verse. I don't know the explanation or the reasoning to it, but I realize that the more grateful you are, the more people want to do things for you. Even though maybe that's not why you're being grateful, but it ends up, opening more doors for you. Nana, have you ever felt lost in life? At any stage?
Wow. Have I? Lost. I think, I'm not sure I have, but there have been occasions where I've been wobbled.
Okay.
Yeah, the occasions where I'm like, okay, maybe I've been wobbled. Especially in my professional career, where you think, ooh, things are not going very well, and you don't see a clear path. I'm somebody who has to see a clear path.
Okay.
I need to see, where are we going? Where are we going? If I don't like when things are fluffy.
Right.
Fluffy means it looks good, but it doesn't mean it. You don't know what they've been somewhere where they've said a lot of things. You heard good things, but you sit in your car and say,
I know, right? Aspire to perspire for me.
Like you sit in your car and you want to say, you're trying to recall something to hold on to.
Yeah.
It's because it's too fluffy. You know, it's just been dressed up. I'm not one of those. I just want to see a clear path. If I don't see a clear path, I tend to be a bit, ooh. And I always say I have an attention span of 5 minutes.
Or less.
Or less. So if I don't see, I get disinterested very quickly. You might be saying something to me, but I've checked out. Because I need to see. So there have been times in my career where and there was a time when I was in Cadbury and I felt like my career was stalling. This was like between 2000, especially 2008. All my friends were getting the breakthrough, you know, like I had good friends, Benjo Fori or called African. And you know, little old me was sat in Cadbury, taking, at that time, I think it was 777. It was 7 million, whatever it was. And my friends move and they're getting 5,000, and at that time, 50 million. I was like, gee. And I had, I think I had 2 boys, and my wife then had gotten pregnant. And I remember I was extremely angry. I recall me, like I was very, very angry. Because I looked at our situation, and I told her, how could you get pregnant?
Hey.
Even little girls know how not to get pregnant. Looking at our situation, how?
It's a joint venture.
Wow. I did my bit. Can you do your bit? The agreement was that we were not going to get pregnant anytime soon until we saw, you know, some financial improvement. So, where's the finish? Yes, and I think at that time I got a job at, I think I was paying 700. I got a job at Standard Water. Standard Water. And I remember I went to the interview. You know, my good friend Kofi Bentel, myself, Kofi Bentel, and Bob Robert, professor now, went there. You know, Nana Fa. So I came back, sat. I don't know if you know Sikan. So I sat there, very wobbled, confused. And I called my friend, my good friend Benji. I said, bro, this is a bit of a deal. What's up? So no, pick up, say, let me give you a number. So he gave me a number, called somebody. And the person just spoke to me, you know. So the person just brought me back and said, so what are you really looking for? You're being emotional about this. I know you want to move, but listening to you and listening to the job offer, it's just money. But guess what? You're so angry, you don't even see the difference is just 200 cities. At that time, it was 2 million. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And I recall he said, wait, just give yourself 6 months to 1 year. Maybe something will pop up. Within 3, 4, 5 months, I moved from there to Tigo. And I recall I moved, I think I was earning something like 7 million. At that time, we had become Ghana cedis, 777 Ghana cedis. Tigo came in and gave me 4,000 Ghana cedis.
Oh, wow.
Just that. And I recall the guy sent it to me and said, we are sending an offer. Let me know if you accept the offer. Are you kidding me? Is this a question? I recall when I said, Charlie, Rudolph said, I for see that. He said, make us see if I go accept. What's wrong with Rudolph? So I get wobbled because sometimes I have people I go to sort of think through, because, you know, sometimes you get angry again. And then, you know, people will just say, okay, look at this and bring me back. Because I prefer that. Because the stage you are describing is like, I'm too far down the road.
Right.
And I don't want to be too far down the road before you come back, because it becomes difficult.
Yeah.
So I'd rather, if something is like this year, terrible, bad, everybody is bad, right? You get emotional, you know. It's brought strain into people's marriages, right? Because wives are complaining, the salary, the money is not enough. Husbands are thinking that, Charlie, you know, wives are insulting them. Sometimes when I'm asleep, I can hear them. They think I'm asleep. Not insult, but you know how women talk. You know, and it all boils down to how the economy has treated all of us this year. So instead of crying about it for me, you fix it.
So in that Tigo story you just shared, what was the lesson you picked out of it?
Oh, the lesson, patience.
Patience.
And knowing your value.
Okay.
Patience and knowing your value. Because when you get emotional, your brain, for some reason, does not reason. And if it does, it reasons with your heart when it's supposed to be two separate things.
Right.
Your heart is supposed to be pumping and emotional. Your brain is supposed to say, calm down, give yourself, sit down, give yourself. So that's what I thought. Is that I think that when I got, I'm like, wow, is this my worth? You know, it's like, oh, wow. So this is what others think of me. And that to me, apart from the money side, that was also satisfying.
Okay.
Extremely satisfying.
Okay.
Because you know what they say about, I don't know if you know theory X and theory Y.
Yeah, I should.
Okay, so basically what it says is that money is a dissatisfier, but it's not a satisfier.
Right.
So if you don't have money, yes, you become dissatisfied. But if you do, it doesn't satisfy you.
Yeah.
So basically that's it. So it's a case of, okay, yes, I got the money. I realize, no, actually I'm more satisfied because I feel like I'm getting the recognition that I deserved all this while, that my peers think highly of me. Because it's difficult when people are leaving you, you know, and then, you know, when you're hearing suddenly there's people are changing schools for their kids, and, you know, and then you are struggling. So to me, I would say patience and knowing what, it placed me at a level that I probably didn't think then that I was.
Wow. And here I thought I knew him. Apparently I don't.
I actually cried. I actually cried with, what's his name? Derek. Maybe a couple of months ago. I think he asked me a question that really hit me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall. He asked me a question that really, I think he asked me a question of why I left corporate or something.
Okay.
And I think in taking him through that, it became very emotional. But we won't go there.
Are you planning to write a book?
Yeah, well, I think someone will have to pen it down for me.
Okay.
And I think it's too early. I did write, and I did I won't say my first part, my first part in corporate life and tribulations. And people were asking for the second one because they know the second one is much more juicy. That's will be a nyavotre. But I think what it is I probably need to acquire the skills of teaching to a larger group.
Okay.
I'm somebody who grows people.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I'm somebody that invests a lot of time in young people. You know, I find it rewarding when I see people doing well.
Yeah.
That gives me more satisfaction. For some weird reason, I'm like,
I noticed that.
yeah.
But anyway, if you pay me well enough, I might consider writing your book for you.
Well, I've seen how you... The active word is paid well enough. I heard your message for 2024.
Yes. Marilyn, I'm going to ask you the same question. Did you feel lost? Have you ever felt lost at any point in life?
I have.
Okay.
Different times.
Okay.
Now it's not the same, but first year university, I did feel lost. I'd moved from Ghana to the US to go study, and I actually was very excited. The school was not bad, but I didn't realize it really hits me that I'll be in a school where I'd have to be matured all of a sudden, take decisions for myself, think of where my next meal was going to come from, and put myself together and still do well in school.
Right.
So indeed, first semester, it wasn't easy. It took a lot of reading, a lot of praying, a lot of talking to people. And funny enough, for the most part, people see me as very strong. So it didn't occur to a lot of people that I'll need help.
Okay.
And even with my parents, I'm sure they didn't realize I could be that emotional. But I survived. But I can recollect I felt really lost at that time. The second time was when I lost my dad.
Friend Paul, do we have tissue?
Do you have tissues?
We do. Okay, we are safe.
No, seriously, my dad was full of life. And he was, I mean, everybody who knows me knows that I had a very close relationship with my dad. One, I didn't hear he was very sick.
Okay.
I'd seen him the year before, and he was very okay.
Right.
I didn't realize he was very sick. Nobody told me.
Because you're not in Ghana.
I wasn't in Ghana. And apparently they had told themselves, I don't need to know.
Okay.
So I come to Ghana in November 2000. And before I was coming, and I used to talk to him a lot. He used to tell me that I should get him a white shirt,
Okay.
bigger than his size, and that if for any reason he would want to be buried in a shirt I give him. But I thought he was joking, and nobody had told me he was that
That's a
sick.
strange request.
I know, right?
So I didn't take it serious. And we joked about a lot of things, so it wasn't a big deal. I felt like, mentor why shirt in mouse say. But my dad made me feel very loved, and he made me feel that he valued our relationship.
Okay.
So I thought it was one of those things where he was just saying, "Wona be see me," but really. So I get to Ghana, I see him, and I'm shocked.
Wow.
He had deteriorated so much that physically you couldn't tell it was him. And I couldn't believe it was him. In fact, I cried so much, but I tried to act strong in front of him.
Okay.
But then he was in Accra. So I told him I was coming to Kumasi for a short time, and I'll come back to Accra to spend some time with him. I get to Kumasi, and just 2 weeks after arriving in Ghana, my mom gets a call that my dad is no more. And they didn't even tell me. I'd given birth, and my son was just about 6 weeks old. So they were still trying to shield me. So one of my favorite aunties comes to me and says, enemy come fie kakrana. Yanko spend the time kakrana. Meba ye drew Hobekan Sembia Chairman. And I'm saying, David, Menya Kara. And the evening before, I spoken to my dad.
Okay.
And he was very, very okay in terms of his voice.
Right.
And I couldn't reconcile the two. But I saw my mom crying. And I'm saying, hey, Papi, you're wrong. And it took me 2 years to get over always grieving. In fact, my husband used to tease me, say, "Oh dear, what da? Oh son, my phone die. Now I know. But it's been, and it was one of the things that also told me that I'd have to be very strong as a person, because anything can break me down. Because I used to cry a lot, almost every time. Me namana me kai me papa. I was say misu and sana matwaso.
For 2 years.
Yes, and I would dream a lot about him, dream about things I wanted to talk to him, so many things. And indeed, up till now, I still have letters he wrote to me when I was in secondary school.
Oh, wow.
Me fina me kokan.
Really?
I was that close to my dad. I actually felt lost. 2 years. It was too many things for me. It took a long while to get over it. And how I got over it, there was a day I was just praying. And then maybe it was the Holy Spirit talking to me, but I just could hear in my ears saying, "Oh, mom, papa, no, and no, mom, no, how are they surviving?" I would the order susu. Then it dawned on me that ebino mami, ebino papa, and they are surviving. Into why am I so crying? See, I just sat myself down, told myself, I remember all the good times, and not focus on the fact that he's gone.
Right.
And that's how I gained strength to move on. But those 2 periods made me realize that and it helped me to be strong when it comes to a lot of things. And yes, I did get lost, but I found myself.
She's also made it. Nana, what is the lesson you've learned about happiness?
More reflective. I think happiness is okay. So this is how I see happiness. It's more gratefulness for me, because happiness comes from a certain place.
Okay.
Things that, and just to touch on that, so I know how my father died because I actually drove him to the hospital.
Oh.
And to my general hospital. At dawn, I'd gone home to do something because I think I had a document to finish and I had 2 little boys, whatever. So I said, let me go home. But I had parked my car behind his car. So I heard my mom shouting, I could be 2 car. So at dawn, maybe 4, 3 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever it was, I'm like, Auntie, yes, da. And I'm like, into my car, say, funny to me, what is this mean to me car? Oh, you feel so well, Charlie, Auntie, Yanko. So I rushed him to the hospital. So when we got to the hospital, this is a very successful man, right? So when we got to the hospital, so I rushed into the, the OPD, no, the OPD, the whatever, where you get, nurses. And I was like, oh, somebody needs help. And they said, oh, Kwabonting, look for those really the bed and put him on the bed and bring him. So I go, I see a bed, but there are no wheels.
Wow.
Meanwhile, this man is in the car. And then they say, oh, the wheels, go here, look for it and put it on.
Wow.
Yeah. And now, at that time, it didn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
I just want, so I think there was myself and Boahin, one of our, my little cousins then. So, put him on the bed. There's nothing on the bed. It's just a Form 1 bed.
And it's unfortunate these things still happen.
This was 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, this 2003. So, put him on the bed. So, really mean, it's a Kokoye card.
Oh, Lord.
Meanwhile, the nurses, they didn't even rush into the car. No. And I was like, my mom had joined. So my mom was like, so they were outside. To them, nothing was wrong. So amongst all the cacophony of doing that, a doctor, who I think he was on duty. So when he got there, he looked and said, Mr. Sayana died. And then the doctor was like, I didn't know that. So he just touched my father and says, oh, well.
Just like that?
Just like that. So he just touched him. He says, but I didn't know that. What about it? And then, my mom, after crying, she started getting angry. And then I was sitting there thinking, this is a man who probably at that time could buy the whole hospital. But it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
This is a man that could buy the whole hospital then. But it really did not matter. There he was, laid on around the, I don't know what they call the reception, but I will call it. Because he was there till like maybe 5:30, 6 a.m. There he did lay in his pajamas on a bed that is not made. It's just like buying a bed from, those of us, I don't know if they still buy that kind of bed. It's mattress, Ketwano, unmade, and it's just there. Wow. And nobody cared. So I remember I looked at him, and people were angry. I was like, it really does not matter anymore. So that's why I'm more grateful to be alive, right? And that's where my happiness comes from, because I saw how we go away. It really does not matter. It's not pretty. It really does not matter how you go. it's not. If you've seen it, and I took him to the mortuary. If you've gone to the mortuary, I don't know how they look now. These days they are better. If you've gone to the mortuary, and I don't want to help, but then you see the importance of life when you have it, and how you probably need to, as the young people say, chill. And when I say chill, not the celebration, but to boase. Be nice, be kind, be happy, like happy yourself. Don't hang on to and train your moment in time. Don't overstretch issues. Don't overthink issues. Don't be angry over little things. Don't be suspicious. Just don't be, because you have very little time to spend with your family. I mean, listening to her, this is the time probably she would have probably enjoyed her dad. For her dad to see her, her grandchildren. But it did not happen. And for most of us, it never happened. Our dads, if you're in your case, you are lucky for your dad.
Yeah.
So same way with our children now. Yes, whether if the trend is anything to go by, we probably will not be around as a guy, based on the statistics, when they have kids. So for me, that's how I see happiness, is that you should be more reflective of how life is in general and how fragile it is. And then you can appreciate the little things you have or you don't have, and to put those things into perspective.
Right.
So that you can generate your own happiness, feel less disappointed. Because other than that, remember what I said, you eat yourself up so much over things that you think you could have done and you could have done that. Yes, try it. Don't procrastinate. But don't also beat yourself about, because sometimes those things inhibit our own happiness. Because you are so you're so focused on. We become functional. I don't know if we become functional. We move. Yes, also they say, oh, your daughter is doing this. You go there. As if you're just going there. There's no enjoyment. Yes, you see it, you're happy, but you cannot internalize it.
Yeah.
You see her perform. Hey, my daughter, I take pictures. But you don't internalize that moment. You don't know how to capture moments and internalize moments. You don't even know how to even rest. For you, rest is sleeping. Me kwajima home. Hey, my dao. Hey, my resty papa. And then the whole day, madam, my resty. When rest is to do with the mind.
Yeah.
So for me, that's how I see happiness. Not the yakudi akoko namyeniaji. Not we've gone to a party. Not we've seen. Those are moments of happiness, yes. But those moments allows you to be reflective. Like, for example, you go to all students, whatever. I mean, we will do 24th, and we see all sorts of people. Some good, some bad, some bad. Those are moments to cherish. It allows you to be reflective. How lucky you are. I mean, those of us who went to Cape Coast schools, right? You recall between, the good. I use the good road from, I don't know whether Brewer. That's the only way I know. Especially when I see the good road, I know I'm in trouble. Yeah. Because them days, they really beat you. Like, it's not these days where homo is not, no. So it allows, instead of people, yes, the drinks are important, but you sit down, you look at the people, and you say, aren't I lucky to have all these people around, to see some of your seniors, to also had sad moments because you've lost some of your seniors or your juniors, and to be lucky that you are alive, to be able to see these moments that you probably will not have. So for me, that's how I see happiness. And champagne.
I hope the Gen Zs are listening. And to your point, I did a training for a company in Accra, I think last year or earlier this year. And to my surprise, somebody actually asked a question. She said, so Francisca, when we get time off, what should we do? And I'm like, what do you mean, what should you do? they've forgotten how to rest.
We've not been taught
They've
how to
forgotten
rest.
how to slow down.
We don't.
They've
no-
never been taught.
Nobody teaches how to. For us, rest is sleep. So we always come back tired.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
go and sleep, and we get back. That's why people after leave, they come back looking more tired than they did. Or some people go 2 days. They tell me, say, I don't want my leave. I want to come back. Because we have not planned, we don't plan it compared to people of, people who are in Europe and other places. They plan their rest. They don't say, I'm planning my sleep period.
Yeah.
They plan their rest, which they call holiday.
Yeah.
That's why they will take, and when they come, they don't sleep in the hotel. They are out and about, seeing how you cook, the slave castles, how we live. It's refreshing. It allows them to flush all their worries away. It also allows them to also reflect on their lucky lives. If they thought they were hard up, they should see other people. Then they look at it, and then they feel like, you know what? So when they come here, it's not just, yes, the sun is important, yes, the sightseeing, but the people, the happiness. They go to a village, and these guys, to them, don't have anything. They have no business being happy. To them, why is this guy smiling? Then he looks at the guy is much, much more happy. And the guy is just sitting under a tree, has some cocoyam, and the guy looks very happy.
Yeah.
So he asks, why is this guy happy? Then it allows him to rediscover what happiness is about. It's not about Usika Bebrebe.
Yep.
It's about moments. Moments. And the love from our children, from our family, from our friends, the support, and then the discipline to look after each other.
Yeah.
Kafra.
Wow. Before we go on a quick break, I'm going to come to Marilyn. I wish I could get your perspective on each thing I raised, but we don't have enough time for that.
What's the time?
It's almost what? It's almost 2. It's 1:59.
Okay, let's go to 3. It's okay.
For the first time. Anyway, what have you learned about taking care of yourself?
Francisca, what's your question?
So, Busa questions, and they're sending me down memory lane. The first time I thought of taking care of myself was after O-levels.
Okay.
I read a book by Ogmandino, The Greatest Salesman. And one of the things I read was, man is the most comical being when he takes himself too seriously.
Yeah.
Man is the most comical being when he takes himself too seriously. And it changed my perspective or my perception on a lot of things.
Okay.
I realized that I have to make myself happy. I have to be in control of my life. I have to make sure that I enjoy life. You see, I laugh a lot.
Yes.
I remember my birthday, one of the people at my office said, I'm hoping, say, your best art was say now office you are from Hono.
I know.
No, from that time I realized I need to take care of myself. And then I'm supposed to be a grown-up. My last one finishes school in 3 days, university in 3 days. But my dream was me Felicia me sama. And it helped me to take care of myself
Okay.
in different ways. My mind has stayed positive in a lot of things. And I've tried to keep myself happy at all times.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. And I've made sure that my happiness is not reliant on people. And yet you are kind of me before my ninja.
Right.
No.
Right.
I give myself many reasons to be happy.
Okay.
And it's helped me to take care of myself in so many ways. Yes, I have ways of taking good care of myself, not just physically, not just emotionally, not just, I mean, so many ways. Inti obi hu me ofili se me ni adwin bi adwin, and indeed me say me di 12 inti adwin by me what dream. But it's important. We don't do that for ourselves.
Right.
If we could do that for ourselves, I think say enema cause we assume that should keep you down. But take care of yourself. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Maweninje. Enema would come to make you sad, yes, but get over it. Now, in fact, growing up, I used to write to God.
Oh, okay.
A lot. I same be a chair I rarely talk to people about their hami and kasa. I'll write. We are not catching and couples when you say madam fool. And then as I write, it helps me to get over it.
Okay.
And when I do, I don't go back.
Okay.
Yeah, Nana was saying, don't go back
Yeah.
to the things that make you sad and all those things. Move on.
Yeah.
No, seriously. If we can do that for ourselves, it may take a lot of stress off us, because business is relationships with people, sometimes people that you feel are your friends. Will be bit me at disappointed big time.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself, Nani premika so madam for. So make yourself happy and take good care of yourself. Your happiness shouldn't be linked to what somebody is saying or not saying. Otherwise, when you bro, but sit yourself down and make yourself happy. And that's how I take care of myself in a way.
2 weeks ago, we had someone in the studio, Nana Bedouins, said he's 26. Now somebody is here saying she's 12. Then I'm 10.
Wow.
But
It's
now
in order, right?
My sister-in-law's DP, it says I'm 21 years with 39 years experience.
That's a good one.
Yeah, some
That
say,
is a good
some
one.
say I'm 21 going on 39.
That's a good one.
She just turned 60.
Oh, wow.
If you say I'm 21 years with 39 years of experience, indeed, happy yourself.
That's a good one. Theophilus also is joining on YouTube. He says, I have learned to happy myself. Ghana for. This is not good English. Happy yourself has come to stay. But I get what you mean, Theophilus. He says, I think work-life balance is also very important. Yes, indeed it says. Nana and Marilyn, I'm going to give you time to drink water. And like I say, breathe. So that I tell you about who is sponsoring the Women Lately show today. Let's hear from them. Let's go on. Okay. Word for word 23. Get ready for a clash of biblical knowledge like never before. Bible Society 4. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Still the
Yes,
president?
you are now.
Bible Society. I
Bible
used to be Northern Sector chairperson for 8 years.
Eish.
Then I handed over, but I'm still part of the Northern Sector Committee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, on December 16th and 17th, which is actually this week, I believe, join us for the ultimate showdown of faith and wisdom as we celebrate the birth of Jesus with the word-for-word Bible quiz. Picture this. Over 12 churches competing for the coveted word-for-word trophy. It's a battle of wits, a statement of faith, and a celebration of unity. Witness the excitement as teams go head to head, answering questions on the Bible's most challenging passages. It's a test of your faith and knowledge like never before. Word for Word Bible Quiz is not just a competition, it's an experience that will strengthen your faith. So mark your calendars for December 16th and 17th and be part of something special. Join us on air and live on Facebook, Orange 107.9 for the Word for Word Bible Quiz. Let's come together in faith and knowledge and let the best church win. Word for word, rightly dividing the word of truth. That one is going to be interesting. All right, let me talk to you about Colored Yarns. Colored Yarns is thrilled to bring you the latest in African fashion with a twist of global elegance. Colored Yarns is an African designer wear shop where clothes are made to fit. We make custom outfits for engagements, weddings, and every occasion. Indeed, I'm wearing Colored Yarns today. Nana didn't say I'm looking nice, but I'll say it myself. Wow. We've got ready-to-go jackets, casuals, church and funeral outfits. At Colored Yarns, we offer a diverse range of outfits tailored to suit all sizes and body types, the small, the medium, and plus size. Step into the world of chic style with our brand new arrivals from the UK. Treat your wardrobe to quality brand name shoes and bags like Clarks, Nine West, M&S and Klein, Aldo, Kenyan slippers, and beaded slippers. Colored Yarns is open to all your wholesale orders from 10 pieces and above. Whether you are stepping out for a casual day or dressing up for a special event, we have the perfect accessories to enhance your outfit and elevate your style. Visit Colored Yarns and experience the fusion of African culture and international sophistication. Locate Colored Yarns inside the Kumasi City Mall, opposite Saks Pharmacy, also in Edum and Poma Arcade, same building with FedEx, opposite Edum Presby. In Accra, they are located at East Legon on the Otano Curve. Call Colored Yarns on 0244 795626. Colored Yarns, where threads talk.
Five years from now, your health will be based on what you eat and how active you are today. Good health is not expensive. It is an investment. Visit the Perfect Health Shop in Dinyami on the Dr. Adokofor Drive, opposite the ECG office, and stock up on all your health foods and wellness products. Walk in for organic juices like cranberry juice, apple cider vinegar, stevia, organic honey, herbs and spices, herbal teas, supplements, and so much more. Talk to us and let us create a comprehensive nutrition and fitness package for you with Coach Franca and personal trainer Kweku Fit. Call 055 373 4616 and book your package today.
Welcome back from the break. This is Orange 107.9 FM. You are live on the Women Lately show. In the studio with me are Mrs. Marilyn Owusu and my boss, Nana Prechum. And we are talking about lessons, good and bad. I'm learning so much. And I'm seeing a softer side of you that I've never seen in the 2 years I've known you. In the 2 years I've known you, I never knew you had a soft side.
Yes, so.
But yeah, like I said at the beginning, this is one of the episodes that deserves a re-listen. Because you can't get everything by listening just once. You really have to go back and listen. Nana.
Yes, boss.
What lesson? How can I be your boss? What lesson have you learned about sharing your goals before you achieve them?
I've been very lucky. I mean, maybe I've never, when others had to sort of start from bottom, from day one I started working with the top.
Okay.
And so it was easier for my goals to be sort of, like I had people, when you are young, you say all of things, right? But so from day one I had, MDs and,
okay.
And mostly people of prominence in our society, working with them. So I grew up much faster.
Okay.
Much faster. So it helped me to really understand goal setting and how you look at goals, right, and how you look at transient goals, where goals are for a period and then you try and then move on from where you look at goals in blocks. Okay. So that you don't hang on where some goals you have to abandon because it will never happen. Or possibly when you are, when you are in blocks, as you grow, your goals change, right? So things you thought you liked or you wanted to achieve in your younger years, as you get older, you realize, maybe this was rubbish. I probably shouldn't have probably thought about it.
Yeah.
So what those people gave to me was your ability to abandon some goals, your ability to know when you are feeling. Because sometimes we get emotional about goals, right? You hang on too long. You are emotional because you believe, you've watched so much, in our time, what's called Mills and Boom, right? You've read, these days they will say social media. Our time, you had, you believe that this thing, it's not going to happen because maybe you don't have the capacity or you don't have the capability. And so therefore you must set more realistic goals. When you're younger, your goals does not more often are not realistic because you have time.
Yeah.
Right? You know, when you're 25, I want to be like Dangote. It's easy. Right?
I want to have a house in the Maldives and another one in the US.
So yes, because you have time.
Yeah.
And you have opportunity. As you get older, when you are 40, 50, Dangote saying, I can't be 10 years. Then you know what they will tell you? Oh, the KFC man was almost 60. You know that thing?
Yeah.
Oh, the KFC man was almost 60. So there's time. I'm not sure. So that's how I saw goals. In blocks, and you need to review them more regularly. And sometimes to not just review them. I mean, sometimes we set goals and the steps are left out. So let's say when I was younger, possibly, I don't know what. Let's say I wanted to become an MD. Right. So from day one, I needed to, you know, sort of identify the moves I need to make. And these are moves, you know, you need to make.
Yeah.
Within, you know, everybody, because goals are just, I want, you know, but the move, sometimes we set goals, typical Ghanaians, oh, nyame beye. I say, I'm not saying it's not, prayer is not good, but I think God has done it already. God has given you all the power, the knowledge, yes, and I tell someone, when I came back from London, I didn't have a job for about 6-7 months. So I used to go and pray a lot. And I discovered that it didn't make me more spiritual. Rather, it motivated me to believe a bit more in myself.
Okay.
So I came out of that, you know, that 6 months prayer fasting. I realized that, no, it didn't really make me spiritual. What it did was, it gave me some unbelievable belief. Like, you understand? It didn't make me want to read more of the Bible, to give you quotations, no. But what I realized, that it gave me that belief that all I needed was, if just get me into the door and you employ me. That's what I felt after that. And trust me, when I recall when I went for the Cadbury role, I was not supposed to get that job. I just had a master's. I'd not worked in Ghana before, and it's not like I worked proper in UK.
Right.
You know how it is. Sweep here, do, you know, go and push trolley here. But in the interview room of panel of MDs, and I just blew them away. And then so years down the line, one of my managers who was part of it says, how did you get this job? Because we all said yes, but in our head we're thinking, why are we saying yes to this guy? So set your goals. It's important. Let the goals be in blocks, so that the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 15 years, I don't know how you. I prefer the next 5 years because it tends to be a bit. 15 years gives an impression that you have more time.
Yeah.
Yes. Set in 5 years, examine them. Ask yourself, what steps do I need to take to be able to make it happen? If you're a prayer person, don't focus too much on the spiritual side of it, which is important. Look for things in the Bible that will give you belief, that will motivate you. It's like putting an armor on, right? You know, like you arm yourself and then move on. Don't be afraid of rejection too. I think sometimes, you know, but then again, what do I need? What do I know? I went to a disco. You reject us all the time.
We are not going to start that now.
No, but seriously. We built, you don't like us anyway, so how we even got some to marry is amazing.
Tread cautiously.
So that's what I'm saying, is that from that, we built it from there.
Yeah.
So for me, look at your goals, look at them in blocks and the steps. You know, you can do the prayer, because I think sometimes in this part of the world, everything is explained away by prayer. Everything, most things. There's a prayer, there's an explanation, or there should be an explanation to everything.
Yeah.
But when you are not competitive enough. Go and work on your skills to be competitive.
Yeah.
Maybe your interviewing skills is suspect. You know a lot, but when they put you in a room, you fluster, you are all over the place. That's what you need to go and say. People, nowadays, we have people who are out there who can help you. Maybe your dress sense is terrible. You go to an interview with a green socks, with a belt, you wear black, and you wear that brown belt. No. Because see, at some certain levels, they look out for silly stuff because they are going to train all of you anyway. So set your goals, especially if you're a young person. You want a job. No, you don't want a job. You want a job that can enhance your career. If you go to an interview that you want a job, it will show that you came for the money. You can't hide it. People who are experienced will, the question they ask you, they will elicit, those type of information. Understand your goals in blocks and the steps. It's not easy, don't get me wrong, when it comes to the steps you ought to take. And that's why that's why you need to build your own support system. There are older people in the area. People, if you happen to live in an area where there are successful people there, ask them, how did you do it? This is how I'm doing it. They will say there will be mistakes. Because the tie has been invented already. Why do you want to reinvent it? Why do you want to make your own? When I hear I want to make my own mistakes, why do you want to make your own mistakes when the mistakes is there?
Yeah.
People have failed. It doesn't mean you can't do it. Understand why they failed.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't do it. Just understand why they failed and how they failed. So that you don't also go through the same learnings. So for me, yes, the goals, all of us, we set goals. Even in our own household, this year, you'll be able 2 million. I feel best need a DSC. And I tell people, okay, you said this million, you want to save whatever. And how are you going to save it? You haven't figured out. Your wife and you have written it down on a piece of paper. They are shabby beam. How are you going to do it?
Yeah.
If you don't say, every month be 2,000, no. Go to, these days it's not popular anymore, but go to an insurance firm, go to the bank, and do direct debit on your thing. Do direct debit. Every month, say 2,000, that or whatever you want. Let them take it. That is the step.
Yeah.
That's a step because that means backing your word with
action.
Action.
Yeah.
But if you say it, the goals, and then you say, the entrance first quarter. Then, like most of us, the year will end like this year has ended. And we'll pat ourselves on the back and say, let's go again next year. Meanwhile, we've been doing that for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So for me, yes, goals, I'm sure, Marilyn, but the steps, that is where we lack the bravery, the courage, the discipline, the advice. That is where the crux of the matter is. We don't know how to move. And when we do, we are afraid to move, or we make excuses. We don't have money. The money is not enough. Like this gentleman here. You tell you he doesn't have money, but every evening he buys food from. There's somebody comes with what do you call it?
How are you going to expose Frimpong on air?
Yeah, and every day, yesterday I told one of the girls, I pay Frimpong, but I don't buy food every single day.
Your goals are different.
I'm not sure. Franca even made it worse. But I'm just an example. I mean, you can't eat outside all the time.
Yeah.
It's disaster coming. Yeah, but unless somebody knocks his head and says, Ura, what do you also worry? Because maybe you like food. And or get your sister to cook something and come and put it in the fridge for you.
Or learn to cook.
Or learn
it's
to
a
cook.
life skill.
Well, some people are, they are when it comes to that, that's their disability. So that's an example. Is that if you don't take it, you're never going to make money. You won't. And it's not about how much you make. It's how much you put aside. It's not, people are making 20, 30, 40,000 and they are broke. People are making 4,000, but they make smart decisions when it comes to investment. And they don't have to go. You have somebody who come and say, boss, I'm 10,000, next month music. Yes, they will pay you back. But why is somebody who's on 20,000 asking to take money from you? Yes, next month they will pay them.
Yeah.
But why are they asking money from you? Is because for some reason, he is not taking the necessary steps. So for me, just take the steps. I'm talking to him and everybody else. This place, the way they can eat packaged food there. Oni adwa. Everybody. It's a be answer no.
I'm sure people are thinking, what am I even doing in the studio today? But yeah, we should back our goals with action. It's not just about setting the goals.
Yes. I mean, if we can, maybe we need to teach. I think maybe it's the way we are brought up. I think we only talk of goals when we get to maybe school or maybe when we are about to marry and a counselor comes and says, every year, and we pretend to do it the first year when there are no kids. And then afterwards, Charlie, forget it.
Life will be lifing.
Life will be lifing.
Maybe we can do an episode on goal setting at the beginning of the year.
I think so. And then the steps, and then where you go to get help. I think we are not good at, maybe we're not good at asking for help, or we don't know where to look for help, or we are supposed to do it on our own. There's something I miss.
Okay.
Even I always tell the young people here, there are things I'm doing today. If I'd known when I started my career in 2003, 2004, I would have put more money aside, more money. Yeah, because this was a time every Friday you go and do stuff. You understand? But these are things that you acquire down the line.
Yeah.
As a young person, you hear, but you don't listen.
Yes.
Because they tell you, but Charlie,
it doesn't register.
Where do you It
doesn't register.
Maybe that's how he sees the food, the packaged food. And the guy, where you will fear,
Let me say from Paul. Let me come in and say from Paul. Marilyn, what is the lesson you've learned about making money?
I didn't know lesson. The lesson.
Yes, the lesson you've learned about making money.
It's never enough.
Yep.
No, it's never enough. It's in my who say it's good to chase money, but it's never enough. When I say it's never enough, we just talked about goals. Depending on what your goals are, you keep pushing. I push.
That's why I'm looking at you with one eye.
No, I push. And Nyamia Dumohume mobile in different ways because I work very hard. But I realize that the motivation should not just be the money. It should be what you do with the money.
Okay.
Yes. Because ubet me nyasikebi. Now I say nyago fufro. What is the kind of question?
Yeah.
Yes, the kind of best one same, but
not Pascal.
yeah, Pascala. It's good to work hard, work smart, have a vision for the money you're making, so that it's not just a matter of I want money.
Okay.
Because ubet me nyasika sisia. Depending on your next move, you can lose all, or you can have more.
Yeah.
I remember, when I studied in the US for my first degree. And at that time, I was very new to stocks. And I didn't even see the essence of it. But now news, make a lot of noise about I bought stocks from here and I did this and I sold this. A few friends of mine, but a few friends of mine decided to do some. And there were some stocks that were doing so well, overnight.
Crashed.
It crashed. Now, I hope you know So indeed, we should work hard and plan to make money. But just making the money shouldn't be our focus.
Okay.
I've seen, sir, if you make enough money and you change enough lives, you get more fulfillment in changing the lives than the money in your hands.
Yeah.
I was happy, sir, now when Nane Kasa about gratitude, where he came from, gratitude was very different.
Yeah.
And I 100% agreed with what he's saying, because when I realized somebody saying, oh, mene mami we share, na asamo kache me and not necessarily giving the person money,
Yeah.
but investing in people.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot with students that come to ACE Consult. I've become a pseudo mom.
I know, right?
To everybody that comes in, and I do it deliberately and intentionally.
Okay.
Because and there are times when people come in, and this is their dream. I want to do this. And I tell them, when I can charge you to get this money from you, but the essence of we doing business isn't the money. It is making sure you're on the right path.
Okay.
Just last week, a student told me, sir, for ACE Consult, for those who don't know what we do, one of the main things we do is helping people to study in the US.
Yeah.
And indeed, we are recognized by the US government with the Education USA program that we do. And we've also been recognized and given another program, which is the American Corner, which does a whole lot more than just education. A student came and said, there are some places where they do everything for them. They'll look for the schools for them, they'll write your application for, they'll do everything for you. And how come we are not doing that? And my first reaction was, the motivation here is not money. The motivation here is changing your life. Because all students who come to us, we give them life skills.
Okay.
For every student, especially those who finish WASI, that comes to us. We are not just looking at applications to schools in the US. We teach them leadership, we teach them public speaking, we teach them entrepreneurship, we teach them taking charge of their lives. Next week and next 2 weeks, for instance, every student that came in undergraduate is doing a project where they are giving back to society. And we made them choose their own projects.
Okay.
So some are given back to schools, some are different things. They sit, they plan, some go to radio stations, they go ask if they can be allowed to be on radio stations, they get rejected, they get accepted. The whole thing is a learning process. So by the time, I see people who didn't go to the US, but who passed through us, who told us that they learned how to write their first CV with us.
Okay.
They learned how to interview with us. They learned how to interact with people in top positions through us. And they are just finished WASI. So it's not just the money.
Yeah.
It's the impact you are making in society. It's the lives you are changing. So I smiled with the young man who told me last week that, how come we are not doing everything with them? And I told them, for most people who pass through us, it's not because we work with the US Embassy, but the confidence they build and the knowledge they gain, it makes it very easy for them to get their visas.
Okay.
So, yes, money dear. Me pesikapa, papa no equivalent. There are different avenues you'd use to make money.
Yeah.
But money isn't the end. No, I don't think so.
I loved listening to that. And everybody's her sister or her brother or son or whatever. She has that motherly thing about her.
She's maternal.
She's maternal, extremely. I'm not going to ask you the same thing for the sake of time. But what lesson have you learned about setting boundaries?
Ish.
Yes. You know me. I always want to ask questions that will make you think.
I'm not sure I set any boundaries.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't call them boundaries.
Maybe I don't call them boundaries, but you see, I'm a people person, naturally. Anybody who's encountered me, worked with me, it's me power grow. And so I probably don't see an older person, a younger person, anything. And that's why I'm able to flow with any age group. Sometimes you can come in, I'm somebody who asks my son can bring the girlfriend and the three of us can go and chill. And my son is level 200. He's not going on level 300. I called him and said, yo, do you have a girlfriend? He says, yeah, I do. I was like, bring your girlfriend. Yes.
Everybody's dream dad, right?
Yeah. My other son, even when he was SHS2, I called him and I said, you have a girlfriend? And he's like, yeah, I do. I said, I was teasing him. She fine, she do this, she does this. And then she sent a picture, and then he sent it. I'm like, okay, she fine.
Really?
You know? Yeah. I mean, it's there. I mean, I post them on Facebook. So people on Facebook, when I say, how did you do it? I would love to do it with my son, my daughter. I'm like, it's a relationship I want to build.
Yeah.
And I've built with the boys. Is that so that, I wish my dad had, some of the things I'm like, I wish my dad had done that. My dad wasn't like that. He will pay for it. I think my son, when the girlfriend was celebrating their birthday, he called me and said, yo, the girl is celebrating her birthday, what's up? And I'm like, what's up, saying?
Exactly.
Eventually I had to send him money so that he can stop. Because I've been there, and it's not nice to lose a girl because it's not nice at all. I don't want that to befall him. And so that's how I see it. And again, sometimes when you have boundaries too, it doesn't bring people to you. Some boundaries. I don't want people to see me as that. Thankfully, I look like them. I'm not tall. Maybe I'm dark and handsome, or some will say, ex-handsome. So I love for people to come to me. Whenever if you see me anywhere, you see people around, I'm joking with them because I really, the things I do, radio, pharmacy, Momo, my own life. If I'm not in tune with what all ages are doing, I'm basically dead. Because I need to know what the young people are thinking. I need to know what the older persons. I need to know what women are saying. What are they thinking? I need to. So, of course, there are other boundaries, which is the other one. The other one, the typical man boundaries. Those are separate issues. But on a normal day, I feel like sometimes some boundaries sort of inhibit people from coming closer. Women are different, because you guys have. But for men, and for me, what I've also found is that's how I get fed today.
Okay.
Because I didn't have boundaries in the past. The people who will call and give me business today are the people that, they will look at me and say, hey, and then they mean and I'm preaching, and the first thing I ask you and say, oh, a boyfriend. I mean, that guy says, hey, I'll probably not say it nicely like that. I'll go in, So he goes, oh. Then it's like, Mr. Kanokre. And then I build a chat with. So I go into, these people are now the directors. So when I call them, they're like, ish, nana frame. And they still have the banter with me like they did when they were younger. That's how I've seen it. And I don't preach boundaries. Of course, there are some boundaries in terms of how you relate to females. Those are, things that you have to be careful, as an older person. As a younger person, don't be, because you need to find a wife. But as a married person and as an older person, there are boundaries you probably need to respect. And you need to also, know what your wife expects from you. Because men, we don't see a lot of things as disrespect. We probably don't. I know of a lady who's married to a pastor. And after church, when all the women soup at, she gets mad. And it's one of these churches, the youthful pastor, doctor, women, doctor, pat your hand by hospital, and doctor say, both were sobbing and not. was sobering and pa. So first he's a doctor and he's also a reverend, whatever. So doctor, hospital, you know, and you know women, right? Hey, my farmer doctor, once will be dinner. Obey you to come was a condition to know when I'm why I say. So and the man, to us, there's nothing wrong. We don't see it, even though you complain. Oh, send your show, me. But the woman also thinks that, look, when we are done with church, maybe let's go home because that's me time. So those are things that you probably, will have to settle with, whoever. But on a general level, I don't have boundaries. What I want is mutual respect for each other. It's the mutual respect that I value. And I have I have my, normally things don't get to me because I have, I can tolerate a lot of things. Okay, I can tolerate a lot of things because sometimes, I know how to count. When I'm getting angry, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You count in your head, and when you think it's going somewhere, you take a walk. You can take a walk. Sometimes I come and open the door and just go back. Sometimes I'll just move from my office, come here, open the door, and go back. These are all skill sets that when I think, okay, this is unnecessary, so let me do something. So I just say, Ma'am, 10 minutes, I'll just go out. Sometimes I go and stand my friend Alaji, which I just go and stand and talk to him. Alaji thinks I think he thinks I miss him so much.
He's listening.
Yeah, I know he's listening. But it's because it's part of that process where I'm able to deflect a lot of things out. So the respect, I'm more a respect person.
Okay.
That I respect you and you respect me back. Don't respect me because I'm boss. Don't respect me because I'm an older person. I don't really, respect me because we have mutual respect for us. Because I respect as much as possible. When my boys are older now and I respect them. Right? I mean, I don't remember the last time. I'm even afraid to say I'll beat them. I can't. I can't. They will beat me. Seriously, I can't. One is as tall as Frimpong. So I don't even have a normal discipline. Even to discipline them is a problem for me now. Like one had just done cornrow or whatever it is. And one of my neighbors in Tema called and say, so I called me and said, hey, boy, Bobby, yes, what about tin wabo cornrow? Or say, I Charlie, or more casacasa or into the band, I will be trial. So maybe could scram me. Okay, you bye bye. Done. Done. I'm not going to tell him he's 20 or so. I'm not going to tell him Kuku try with it. It does not really. It's the time for that is over. Rather, I'll just say, look, maybe when you're going to school, you don't need. I don't have a problem if you have a PS thing. It really doesn't bother me. If you PS both ears, a wow life. I've given you the tools. I've given you the tools to succeed.
Marilyn is looking at you.
I know. I've given you the tools to succeed. I can't be micromanaging you as you. That's what my dad did. From 18, I can't be micromanaging that life for you. So there are things that, yes, it shouldn't happen. Those are things that, growing up, we all know our mother's boundaries are. The family will not tolerate certain things. But piercing who is going to buy? All his uncles, they pierce their ears. Oh. Or some of them have cornrow. They grew up. So I understand it, and plus, it really does not impact on his life. It does not impact on his faith. It does not impact on his studies. Intimidatory. So I really, and the same way with I think 2-3 days ago, I think my wife was saying, I think she was doing something, and the wife said, I'm going to tell your dad. She said, oh, you come and say, I've been a Jai and go back. And seriously, that's what she said. Told the mom that, oh, don't bother. He'll just come and say, I've been a Jai, and then he'll go back. And when when the mom did that, she came out and said, I told you, he'll just come and say Jai and go back. Because I need someone to come in and I'd rather have a chat with you and say, Charlie, stop it. And this is why you have to stop it. And I'll buy you pizza if you stop it. I'll do this, you stop it. Yeah, because as I've grown older, the way I used to discipline, I don't think it's of use anymore. That's trying to chasing, and I'm getting used to, growing up with a girl. I'm used to having boys in the house where all of us look naked all the time. And suddenly there's a girl. And you remember what I told? I'm being asked to cream a girl. No, I'm not creaming a girl. No. And
that's your boundary.
Yeah. That's my boundary. And my sons look at me thinking, you're not creaming any girl, yeah? Cream the girl. Everybody's uncomfortable. Suddenly everybody's uncomfortable because they are like, ish. So everybody else have to, sort of adjust.
Yeah.
And then, so the respect, yes, but I also am a firm believer of leave them. When they get to a certain age, you've given them all. You're not going to change an age. I was 18 once. You're not going to change an 18-year-old's mind.
Yeah.
We were at the university once. Yes, the boundaries is what we keep. You remember when them days, we had a girl. No matter what time, you bring her home. Because she knows she will never sleep outside. It will never happen. Even it's 3 a.m., 4 a.m., she will. Those were her boundaries. So I used to tease them into the in between that. Whatever happens, there are no boundaries there. Just can but those are boundaries. So for me, when it comes to that, I don't like it. And then the respect, not because I'm older, not because I'm supposed to be wiser. No. Yes, I have more experience than you. It does not necessarily mean I'm wiser. I just have more experiences. And the more experiences are lived experiences, so that you can avoid, and some of those experiences are shared, both shared learnings and experiences that I pass on. I can only pass on. Like I tell a lot of people who meet me, who come to me and say, in an so yeah, that's it. I'm like, no, pass it on. If you think I've done you good, make sure the next young person you meet, mention my name and tell that boy to pass or that girl to pass on that good. Because that way we can, as she was saying, that way we can influence more young people. Because if you develop somebody, more often that you get your payback. All the people that she's developed in the next 10, 20 years, when she probably started, when her daughter or her son sitting there, somebody will come and say, hey, I'm bringing you business because of your mom. I'm doing this because of your mom changed my life and all that. I think we need to focus. Sometimes we are too glued on boundaries and your way. It hurts us. Because it means we did not explore more. It made us timid. Anyway, but those were different times. We only had GTV. Right? At that time, we couldn't even GBC. So I don't want, looking at the world today and the job opportunities that are in the digital space, bloggers, content creators, artists, so many. If you limit and I tell young people, you're limiting your ability to only Ghana. Right? Now you can move and go and live in Zambia, Uganda, Kenya, other places. So the fact that content creation is not popular in Ghana, it's very popular in East Africa.
Yeah.
So why don't you develop that skill? Not because you want to stay in Ghana, because you have opportunity to go and live in East Africa, where it's a big deal over there. Maybe arts, as in drawing, both illusions and both abstract, is not popular in Ghana. Why don't you look at our time? It wasn't like that. You barely knew what was happening in Nigeria, let alone know something. The only thing you knew about African countries was their capital, which you were taught. Kampala, Kenya, that's. So if we try, I'm not saying it may not be for everybody, but we also have to have in mind that we don't, what's the word? I think the word is cower our children into It's too much submission that every time they move, they look at us for approval, especially when they get to that age where they don't need our approval. They need to be a bit daring, and they need to be a bit, I'll tell them, make your mistakes. You understand? But your mistakes has to be guided by what you've learned so that you don't make any mistakes at all. But don't wait for me. Don't wait for me. Yes, I will solve it if you can't get it. But you know kids, right? Oh, school be na oh papa be ya mama. Ejuma papa be pay ejuma mama ye. And so all their lives they wait for you, even when they're adults. They wait for you, especially when they are mommy's boys. They will wait for you because they are so used to you stepping in all the time. So they grow up and they are still waiting for mommy. The jobs they find is because mommy calls somebody and they are stuck in there. If mommy doesn't come and say, and if they are not careful, they go and marry an innocent girl, why can't they mommy? And then I can't say mommy, oh, say we'll see a person, mommy and mommy discuss it. So for me, have boundaries if you think it's okay, but I think from 18 above, they will not respect it anyway. Because they will now look at your boundaries and say, it doesn't suit us. Or some of the time, they will look at it and say, yeah, I like it. Why? Because all the boundaries they gave me, we broke it. It didn't hurt me, by the way.
Interesting thoughts. I didn't see that coming. So I'm going to ask you the same question.
But I'm so happy you've put us here because I'm a boundary person.
Yes,
I
can tell.
Big time.
Okay.
Big time, but not in a negative way.
Okay.
Home, for instance, we just set the rules at a very young age and said, this is what we stand for. These are values. Maintain the values.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that you can't explore, you can't, but I want to know. Because somewhere, somehow, I just feel it doesn't matter how old you are, you still need some guidance. That's me anyway. And I'm a very adventurous person when it comes to business. I don't set boundaries, but I ask for a lot of advice.
Okay.
And the advice itself can be restrictive at some point. It may not come across as very strong boundaries, but they are some kind of boundaries.
Okay.
I relate well with everybody. I flow very well with everybody, but I still set boundaries. Boundaries, and Anna spoke about respect. It's the same respect for me, and there's the respect that gives me the boundaries. I just feel don't cross this line.
Yeah.
Out of mutual respect. And that's the boundaries for me. You see, the fact say, many was stressed doesn't mean say, but he came because if you say a classmate. No, it doesn't work for me. Or I found it very shocking when growing up. My mom is a very strict person. One of the days, and I'm sure I may have said it here, I felt it was normal to call your parents by nicknames. And my dad was, it didn't matter with my dad. Nah, I always called my mom mommy. And I'm saying, hey, Auntie Mary, lecture me just just because of Auntie Mary. And I found it very odd. But me, I realized in some ways I'm like my mom. And we talk about so many unnecessary things. So me feel but I still feel, hey, respect. So it's not necessarily strict boundaries, but respect. Those are the boundaries for me.
Okay.
I'm easygoing, I'm fun-loving, but I believe in mutual respect that should set the boundaries. Don't take teacher maybe can ask them, don't take my leniency to be my weakness. So those are the boundaries for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know? I had no idea it's
I know,
2:51.
right? Yeah, I looked at them like,
I had no idea.
I looked at them like, we're having that much fun.
Anyway, Marilyn, again, what lesson have you learned about forgiveness?
Forgiveness is a powerful tool.
Okay.
I've learned so many lessons. One thing I read that said, if you don't forgive, it's like swallowing a bitter pill and expecting somebody to be sick. I forgive a lot and easily.
Okay.
And I do that consciously. Because my dreams are my mountain. The more I don't forgive you, the more I brood over every other thing away. And it will keep me unhappy.
Yeah.
I'm not about to unhappy myself. So personally, I don't hold grudges. And I don't let things get to me.
Talk about the devil.
Forgiveness it's a big deal for me. And things hurt us.
Yeah.
But don't let unforgiveness kill you. Free yourself, free your mind, free your soul. I mean, free yourself. Into me, no. If something happens, I'll talk about it. After I've talked about it, you won't get me to brood over it. Na shemia na metuana me dream who's a minya na. Come be pay waste and me some pisika.
I said I was going to let you expose yourself, so you are doing that even without my help.
No, seriously, forgiveness is big for me. I make a conscious effort not to let anything make me get into a place of unforgiveness.
Okay.
It takes a lot to get to that stage.
Yeah.
But I think everybody should aim at getting there. Because unforgiveness, I really cry.
Yeah.
I really cry. I don't know how to express it, but
It weigh you down.
yes. It weighs you down, it stifles you, it can intimidate you.
Waste of time.
Seriously. So for me, honestly, it's not that easy. Sometimes, because I'm that close to young people, they'll talk about what parents have done, what their parents have done, what this teacher has done. What in the casa can't be behaving saying it's now dream home. Is the person aware? Say he or she has this much of a hold in your life. Why are you doing this? Either you go talk about it and find solutions so that you don't get bitter, and sometimes you try to go talk about it and they do worse things to hurt you.
Yeah.
It's no, what's not here decide this way. On your worth my time. I'm forgiving. Not because I'm not hurt, not because it's easy to forgive, but it's because I don't want the person to control my life.
Yeah.
So if we can, it's one of the big things we can do for ourselves. Forgive.
Amazing. Before they run me out of the studio, I am going to round off. I'm going to give each of you a minute to tell me what life lesson you wish you had learned earlier. 1 minute, Frimpong. Time for me. Starting with Nana.
Life lesson. tough because you see, it's the way I look at it. Do you understand? I mean, it's the way I look at it. I see it as it was part of my journey.
Okay.
You know, I see it as a journey,
Right.
and each stage delivers what I call experiences. You know, that may or may not be relevant for the next leg. You know, and then when she talked about experience, forgiveness is like my attitude is Charlie, forget to be
Okay.
you know, that's how I see it. So whatever it is that I'm going through now, in terms of life lessons, it's for this period. Life is hard, you know, this year. Okay. These are lessons. We started off by saying, look, I need to open more fronts. I may get into next year and says I will not open your front because I probably need more resilience. I go and meet a finance person and say, like, you know, recently I was talking to one of my friends in Stanbic, right? So I do a lot of these insurance investment here. And then DDEP, I wipe up. DDEP, right, has wiped up basically all the gains I've had over the last 10 years. And now I go and I look at it and it's 5%. So I call my friend who's a Stanbic, and he says, no, you don't need it. Bring it here. We'll give you 19%. Because we are lending to the banks at, I'm doing free advert for Stanbic.
I know, right?
But we are lending to the banks at this. So that, and I'm looking at doing the math and I'm saying, okay, it makes sense now. So maybe if I'd known this earlier, maybe I wouldn't be in this situation. And you know what Maya Angelou said, right? You do what you do based on what you know.
Yeah. When you know better,
You do better.
right?
And so these lessons, we are limited by what we know. We go through this because our limitation is what we know then. When we know better, we do better. So my quest is to constantly keep on knowing better so that these lessons or experiences, whether good or bad, I'm better prepared.
Okay.
Thank you.
In a minute, Marilyn, what life lesson do you wish you had learned earlier? They want to run me out of the studio, but because their boss is here, I'm safe.
There are many lessons, but one thing I'll say is we should embrace all opportunities that come our way without restricting ourselves. Why am I saying this? The things I make most money out of, they are not the things I went to school for. The side gigs that come my way, somebody sees you and feels, "Ubet me I idea way." It's Marilyn, try it. I try it and I make money out of it. Or I try it and I get more fulfillment.
Okay.
I realize that things that are my hobby, things that come naturally to me, are the things that help me make more money than the things that I actually went to school for.
Completely agree.
So let's not restrict ourselves. Let's be available for opportunities that come our way. When we weigh them and they sound good, go for it.
Okay.
Have that faith in your ability to do well, even if it's new grounds, and go for it. And I think they bring life-changing experiences,
Right.
and it's worth it.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Women Lately Show. This has been episode 11. Marilyn and Nana, thank you. I only did about half of the questions I had for you guys, but that is life. Theophilus, thanks for joining us on the show. Should I? Okay. Happy birthday to Sims Ampofo, who is part of Focus One Media. I hope you're enjoying your day, my dear friend. On this note, I'm going to end this episode. We'll see you again next week for our Christmas edition of the Women Lately Show. My name, as always, Francisca Taylor. Good afternoon.